Good day, fish tankers. This video is especially for you, Tertius van den Berg, who asked me if I could make a video about Shubunkins. Now, Shubunkins is a color variety of plain single-tailed common goldfish. Now, we all know the common goldfish that are unfortunately still in some places, one at fairs, and that people sit in these horrible little bowls. They're not supposed to be there. I'll link a few videos at the end of this video. You'll see the cards here up on your screen. You can just click on it on why you shouldn't keep goldfish in bowls and also how to keep them fancier varieties. But the Shubunkins, the common goldfish and the comets, they're all sort of a group of, shall we say, non-fancy goldfish. Basically what I mean, these are not the round egg-shaped goldfish. These are the elongated goldfishes that look more like a normal fish if a preschool kid would draw a picture of a fish. The Shubunkins that Tertius got, of course, is just a color variety, the sort of a calico color variety. And then we have the comets and we have the common goldfish. Are they good aquarium fish, you know, and what do they require if you keep them in an aquarium, and what would be a better way to keep them? If you're interested in that, then stick around. There we see a common goldfish, the short-tailed orange goldfish in among some koi. There you see the goldfish again. Koi, of course, have little barbels by the side of their mouths, like you can see. And here is the common goldfish. Simply the same as a common goldfish, slightly less chunky with the elongated fins, the long fins. And this is a Shubunkin, just a different color variety of a common goldfish slash comet. And you can see they're sort of mottled. Now, don't keep goldfish in bowls. It's a big no-no. Watch the video at the end of this one. To feed them, there's a lot of commercial goldfish food available, pellets as well as flakes, and also feed them a bit of vegetable matter. Some cichlid vegetable pellets does the trick. And here we see more comets. This color variety is called the Sarasa comet because it's white and orange or gold, whatever you prefer. And goldfish are not fussy. They eat almost anything. They like a bit of gravel on the bottom that they can sift through. They'll take water, everything from pH 6.5 to 7.5, even 8. And they can be kept in unheated aquaria. So they're not fussy fish in that sense of a word. But they do require big filtration. So a canister filter or even maybe a sump will be the best option for them. That is what will work best. And why do they require big filtration? Because this is a big thing with goldfish and comets and Shubunkins. They grow really big. Usually they grow to about a foot, that's 12 inches. Some even make it up to 14 inches. Here you see two common goldfish and they're really, really big. Here's another big common goldfish with sort of a comet there to the one side. You can see the fins are longer. And so your common goldfish, your comets and your Shubunkins, they grow quite big. These goldfish that are shaped like a normal fish. Now that brings you to tank size. They need big tanks like this Malawian cichlid tank, that kind of a tank. So you want about 75 gallons, 280 liters for one comet goldfish or Shubunkin. And then you want an additional 55 liters for every one after that. So if you want to keep a small group of about 5 common goldfish, Shubunkins, comets, normal single-tailed goldfish, you need a tank about that size, what you're seeing here. Here you see some common goldfish and comets, very nicely kept in a huge aquarium. And that's how you've got to keep them in an aquarium. So yes, you can keep them in an aquarium, but they need really big tanks. Nothing less really long-term than 125 gallons. This is another big tank at an animal sanctuary. And there's some fancy goldfish in here, but you can see a lot of the comets and the common goldfish. They end up in here because they outgrow their aquariums. Now there's a better idea, and as you can see here, the dealer, the comet goldfish and the comet goldfish here are in a pond. Now this is maybe something to consider. They make better pond fish. And now when we think about ponds, we usually think about koi. And koi don't always require a pond the size of a swimming pool, but pretty close to it. A splash pool size pool or a traditional garden pond is too small for them. So they require substantial ponds. Like you can see here, it doesn't have to be quite this big as I've said, but they need a lot of space. Now, koi are overage in ponds. One of my British friends when I was in the UK told me she doesn't really like the koi. They're grotesque to her. I don't agree with her. I like them. But she says there's a charm to the ordinary goldfish. And I do quite agree with her there. So if we're looking at outdoor fish keeping, the common goldfish and its varieties are better in a pond. But let's just leave a koi for a moment. And here you can see the kind of pond that you can put common goldfish in. Yes, it's very, very green because of the algae. That needs to be cleaned up, but it's not harmful to the goldfish. In fact, it benefits them. And this kind of a pond is really a nicer way to keep your common goldfish varieties. Here you see more of them mixed in with some tilapia and also a lost koi. But they're much happier in outside in a pond type of setup, because a pond of 1,000 liters isn't nearly as big and imposing as an aquarium of the same volume. So that's what I think one needs to do with these big comets like this one you see swimming here. Put them outside in a pond perhaps, if you don't want to put them in a huge aquarium. Most people want to use those huge aquariums for something else but goldfish. So that's what I think. You guys must tell me in the comments what are your opinion about these types of goldfish. And until I see you guys again, remember to subscribe and take good care of those domestic denizens of the deep.